Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. The U.S. and Israel are preparing for more possible strikes on Iran amid signs of a power struggle inside the Islamic regime.
President Trump says the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah will hold for at least 3 more weeks to prevent another war along Israel's border with Lebanon. Joshua Swanson brings us the story from Jerusalem.
President Trump made the announcement after what he called a historic second round of talks at the White House.
They've agreed to an additional 3 weeks of, no firing, ceasefire. And we think that the president of Lebanon and the prime minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here. They actually like each other, Lebanon and Israel.
Trump also said that the United States is going to work with Lebanon in order to help it protect itself from Hezbollah. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar says peace between Israel and Lebanon is possible, but only without Hezbollah.
Hezbollah is common enemy of Israel and Lebanon.
At the same time, Trump made clear Israel still reserves the right to defend itself.
Israel is going to have to defend itself if they're shot, but they're going to do it carefully and they're going to be surgical.
The president again made clear that the U.S. is still demanding that Iran stop its backing of proxy groups in the Mideast, including Hezbollah in Lebanon, as part of any deal between Washington and Tehran to end the U.S. war on Iran.
That's a must for you.
Yeah, sure. That's a must, yeah.
Meanwhile, Tehran says it will not reopen the Strait of Hormuz as long as the United States continues its blockade of Iranian ports. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf says a complete ceasefire only has meaning if it is not violated through a naval blockade. He adds reopening the Strait of Hormuz is not possible amid a blatant violation of the ceasefire. Reports from inside Iran suggest growing division at the top. An unsourced television report says Ghalibaf has stepped down from leading negotiations with the United States after pressure from Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commanders. Iranian officials deny the story. The New York Times reports Iran's Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei remains mentally sharp and engaged after being wounded in a major strike. But Israeli and American officials believe he's not functioning as the country's true supreme leader, suggesting instead that the real power now rests with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, indicating the military may be steering both diplomacy and war decisions. And after President Trump's remarks on divisions in Iran's leadership, Khamenei posted that Iranian cohesion has become even greater and more steel-like. Meanwhile, CNN reports the U.S. is planning new strikes on Iran if the ceasefire fails. And Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz says Israel is preparing for the possibility of renewed conflict with Iran.
Israel is prepared for the resumption of war against Iran. The IDF is prepared both defensively and offensively, and the targets are marked. We're waiting for a green light from the United States.
Joshua Swanson, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Joshua. Here at home, nearly a dozen scientists related to U.S. nuclear and aerospace research have died or gone missing since 2022. There are growing questions about a possible connection, and that has gotten the attention of Washington. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke has the details.
When you hear about these dead or missing scientists, the concern isn't just about who they were, it's about what they knew.
Just because somebody departs the government, I've said this for years, doesn't mean that they leave their knowledge like luggage or gear that they were issued back with the government. That knowledge goes with them.
Hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short term.
These scientists were predominantly affiliated with 4 different agencies: the Energy Department, NASA, War Department, and the FBI. Former Navy SEAL and retired FBI Special Agent Jonathan Gilliam tells CBN News that their combined knowledge could have made them targets.
When you look at the totality of all these individuals, you're looking at people who, this person worked over here and this person worked over here, but together their knowledge now gives you insight into an apparatus or some type of widget or technology that they're working towards, that the government is working towards. It would behoove a nation state that's our enemy, or even a friend, an ally that wants this information, to then target these scientists.
Over the last several years, the number of incidents have increased, with some involving scientists who have simply disappeared. At this point, investigators simply want to find out whether these cases are connected.
Put all of these people and the way they disappeared or died on a wall, on a dry erase board, and then say, here's some similarities, just like you would do with a serial killer. You know, you look at the similarities, because when we see people that are victims of foreign activities, murder, disappearance, or whatever, there are similarities.
Even if there is no direct link, Gilliam says this situation highlights a potential vulnerability in U.S. national security. What happens after experts with sensitive knowledge leave government service? Because
there is, at this point, as far as I can tell, no overwatch of scientists and people who obtain this knowledge or who have this knowledge that worked for the government, there's no overwatch of them when they depart and separate from government official work.
With Congress, the FBI, and the president now involved, the focus is simple. Find the link, if there is one, and determine what this means for national security. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
Thank you, Caitlin. Certainly there are some skeptics out there as the story was breaking and people saying, oh, it's conspiracy theory. But if people are looking for a connection, you do not have to look far. Nearly a dozen dead or disappeared since 2022. The FBI says they're on it. Congress is looking into it. But, you know, a lot of stories like this one, they break and there's a few weeks of traction, and then a story like this disappears. So it'll be interesting to see if people really follow up on it. Terry?
Yeah. You don't really think about what they were saying in that, though, that people have all this high security information and then they leave the government for retirement for whatever reason, and they still have that in them.
Yes. I mean, it's getting a lot of attention, certainly. Are there foreign agencies involved in this? It's a fascinating news story, and we're going to keep you updated along the way.
Exactly.